you ready for the truth? Bring it on!
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Do you want the whole truth? I don't think you're ready.
Governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people.
It's Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth.
Absolutely. What else would you call it? Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, proudly on AFR Talk. Great to be with you all. All right. Let's blast this out. Real quick, want to give you a recap of the last hour in case you want to go to afa.net/nothing but truth. You can also go to the American Family Radio Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth Facebook page. I encourage you to do that. Like the page. I don't like everything you say. Of course not. But you can like the page and engage in debate. One more rhyme. I'm Jesse Jackson. So what we're going to do right now is tell you what we did last hour, which is Iran marching on its way to a nuclear weapon, the consequences of that, and the information that has been recently detailed in the Investors Business Daily. Actually, it was about 4 days ago. And we talked to Paul Howard, Manhattan Institute scholar, senior fellow, director of the Manhattan Institute Center for Medical Progress. And he talked about pretty much everything that you've heard, the talking points that have been given to defend Obamacare. I brought those to him, and he gave me the rest of the story. We spoke of Kathleen Sebelius testifying tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern and what questions he would ask her. And then we spoke to immigration reform. And as I pull up Drudge, this is funny because it does show that, once again, we are on the pulse of things, of where things are going. Big headline, or excuse me, one of the little headlines, but at the top, Chamber of Commerce leans on Speaker to back immigration push. And McCain talked about how they're going to pass something after the elections next year. That will be very interesting, to say the least. That all said, if you look at the consequences of this financially, you look at it politically, and as I said last hour, we are already becoming the great salad bowl, balkanizing, not going under American, but putting the hyphen there and drawing political power from the hyphen. And that's being preyed upon rhetorically and otherwise. That said, we have this, and it's something that you're going to hear a lot more of. It's unfortunate. And it really is a sad state of affairs because this also shows the establishment versus the rank and file, and specifically in the Republican Party. More on that a little later. Great calls. Appreciate the phone calls. Thank you very much for those. Now, the big lie. What is the big lie? Well, lie is knowingly mislead. And President Obama was doing just that when he made these statements. Roll it.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period.
If you like your doctor, you keep your doctor. If you like your current insurance, you keep that insurance.
If you've got health insurance, you like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan. Nobody is talking about taking that away from you. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan.
NBC News, 21 seconds, specifically addressing the evidence that the Obama administration knew this wasn't the case when it came to the individual market. Up to 40 to 67% would lose their health care plan. Here, NBC News last night. Roll it.
That millions will lose or have to change their individual policies is not a surprise to the administration. NBC News senior investigative correspondent Lisa Myers found buried in the 2010 Obamacare regulations language predicting a reasonable range for the percentage of individual policies that would terminate is 40% to 67%.
Pretty big news, right? Well, it's up to 80%. They knew this, yet they kept saying it. So Ed Henry asked Jay Carney about the statement if you're able to keep your health insurance, and was that true? Jay Carney responded. Cut 7, roll it.
Well, let's be clear. What the president said and what everybody said all along is that there are going to be changes brought about by the Affordable Care Act that create minimum standards of coverage, minimum services that every insurance plan has to provide, so that an individual shopping for insurance, when he or she purchases that insurance, knows that maternity care is covered, that preventive services are covered, that mental health services are covered, that the insurance policy you buy doesn't have an annual limit or a lifetime limit, that there are out-of-pocket expenses capped at a maximum level, both annually and for a lifetime. So it's true that there are existing health care plans on the individual market that don't meet those minimum standards and therefore do not qualify for the Affordable Care Act. There are some that can be grandfathered if people want to keep insurance that's substandard.
Yeah. So what you said wasn't true, right? Roll it.
But what is also true is that all Americans who have insurance on the existing individual market will now have numerous options available to them, and 6 out of 10 will pay less than $100 per month in premiums for better insurance. It's not even an apples-and-apples comparison. This is qualitatively better insurance coverage than what was available in many cases to Americans around the country in the insurance market, by the way, that was so lightly regulated that you often didn't know what you were getting. So you could sign an insurance policy, get that plan, pay a lot of upfront money, premiums, out-of-pocket expenses, and then find out that because of the fine print, it doesn't cover the actual condition that you have. That will no longer be the case. So I get what the effort here is, but
less than half of the people qualify for subsidies when it comes to the individual market. You're going to have about 8 million people out of the 14 million people who are impacted by this that won't qualify for the subsidies. They will lose their health care plan. And what he is saying is, in essence, yeah, we did know, we weren't telling the truth, and we don't trust you enough to make the decision because you can't shop for your own health care, so we had to put in minimum standards, which brought on an increased cost and gave you things that you did not want. And if you wanted those, you can't keep the plan because it's not compliant with what we deem that you need. In essence, you were lied to. But it's for your good. Now, take your castor oil. Take your medicine. Come on. The exchanges I could go on and on about, we can talk all about that. What gets me is we continue to come back to, if you believe in your program so much, why did you have to lie to us to sell it? Why couldn't you get one vote on it? Why do you accuse Republicans not acting in their conscience to repeal it? Why do you accuse them of not wanting children to have health care? Are you that infantile? Do you think we're that stupid? Do you think we're that knee-jerk and reactionary that because the government wouldn't provide something that we don't want somebody to get it? Really? 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 Yeah, the idea of that? I left those notions behind in the sandbox in the second grade. No, I went back in the sandbox and played, but I just left those notions behind and those reactions behind. But that's what they're preying on. Republicans are bad, and I'm not saying the Republicans are good. I am saying conservatives are right. They have been right. They continue to be right. We told you this was going to happen, and you told other people it was going to happen too. You told us it was going to happen. You understood this. So many of you, some of you do not. Some of you have just gotten this for the first time, and oh, wow, the rate shock, and wow, the government can't bring down costs when it comes and takes over 1/6 of the economy. Oh, it can't do that, really. Why not? Because it never has worked. Why hasn't it worked? Because it takes out the human condition, human nature. Bottom line, I mean, if you want to look at why liberalism doesn't work and the recognition of that, it doesn't allow the market to work and to determine price, which has to do with the scarcity. But we can go into the laws of economics and economic history as well as economic philosophy. Here's the point. You want everybody to have health care. You want costs to come down. You tried to scare us to get that, your solution, but it's never worked. And in fact, the programs you have had have done the exact opposite. And we have examples. We can go across the pond and see an example of national health care, and we see the destruction of that. So why would you do it? Why would you lie to us about it? I believe it is tremendously offensive. Excuse me. It's offensive. And those of you waking up to this, welcome to the party. This is the reality of big government. This is the reality of the policies enacted and what it does. Now, where is this leading? I'll tell you where it leads. And it's single payer. That's what it is. And we've done that background on that. It's not conspiratorial. It's logical. Insurance companies, you can't make a profit. The insurance companies are to blame. Let's blame the insurance companies. Well, the insurance companies are changing the plan because we made the insurance companies change the plan. Who's at fault? And it's this double speak, kabuki theater. It's like, can you just tell the ripping truth? Do you ever have that? You look at the television, I say an expletive now and again, and I'm not proud of that, but I do. I did today, watching the hearings. I had to turn them off. I got a little riled because somebody got up and had the audacity to say, how are you going to tell people they can't have insurance when they had a pre-existing condition? You look them in the eye. I will look them in the eye. Yes, I will, because I don't accept your false premise. I'm so sick of the liberal line. It just chaps me to no end. And I'm not trying to come away angry here. I'm not trying to rile up. I'm just sick and tired of it all. And that's where we are in America. We've got a president who's, through his policies, has continued to divide, has been dishonest, has claimed that he doesn't know about things. Then we learned, evidence says that, well, unless, of course, we really don't understand how things work and we have to suspend common sense, we believe you're a liar. You lie to the American people about what you know, how much you know, and you used your power and you've abused your power. Trust me, President Obama, let's say he was a conservative Republican and we have what we have in his record, he'd be gone. He'd be impeached. He'd be removed. Trust me, he would resign by now. That's what would happen. Now, you could say that's an anti-Obama rant. No, it's an anti-corruption rant, actually. It's an I would just say it's a pro-rule of law. I believe in the rule of law. And by the way, I'm not a leftist. I'm not saying any other way. I'm saying go through the legal process, do things legally. This man has tried to shut down his adversaries and used the power of the government to do so. He has divided this country through his policies. And that's a reality. You look back and you say, and now it's almost as if some people have looked at this administration and said, okay, well, I benefit from it. And look, the alligator's going to eat you. You may be eaten first, you may be eaten last. He's going to eat you. And that alligator's big government. That alligator is someone who is going to come in and look at what you are doing and say, I want to control it in some way. I want to steer it in some way. And it's for your benefit. I know, that's a little harsh, isn't it? Yeah, what's going on in America right now? It is harsh. It is awful. There's no other way to put it. You want me to say, it's great. Israel's threatened with extinction because of a nuclear weapon in Iran and what they are building and how they're working with the Russians. It's great that we ask them to negotiate with terrorists and release thugs and terrorists as a deal to advance an agenda that will inevitably end up destroying them. Ridiculous. And economically, what we've done with the American dream is say, here, we're going to take this and we're going to just put a knife through the heart of it. Because what we're going to say is we're going to punish you if you're successful. We're going to demonize success. Not only are we going to demonize success, it even gets better. Why does it get better? I'll tell you why. Because if you are successful, you will become the enemy unless you play ball with us, unless you're the chosen few. And then we'll reward you. But that's what President Obama ran against. Candidate Obama ran against the special interest and all we talk about. Well, look what's happened. Just take a look at their energy program. That is the foundation of the new economy, by the way. Solyndra. Things that couldn't work in the free market, we'll just allow government to pour more money. And some through alchemy, we're going to come out with an energy source that works. As long as we just spend more money. And by the way, we get that money by taking it through force or threat of, through taxes. That's what's going on in this country. Oh, by the way, for those of you who believe in the separation of church and state, one, you are totally misguided in what you've analyzed with the letter to the Danbury Baptists that Jefferson wrote. Jefferson was speaking to the state going in the church, not the church going into the state. I don't believe in a theocracy. Of course not. That's not what we have here. Bottom line, that's what he was speaking to. And what has happened with the HHS mandate? I got news for you. The state is going into the church. It's going into the private businesses when they have a conscientious objection to what is going on with the support for programs that provide abortifacients, that kill babies. And now, you know what? How they describe this and sell this and push this and in essence attempt to deal with the issue, they say the people objecting to this have a war on women. Now, how much dope do you have to smoke to actually believe that nonsense? Do you buy this? Well, Crane, I'm pro-choice. You're a Christian radical. You believe in life. Look, I don't care where you are right now in the life debate. I'd like you to be pro-life. I'd like you to understand it's not cosmic goo. I'm asking you, are you comfortable with the state coming in to a church, coming in to a business and dictating that they have to pay for abortion? Are you comfortable with that? Are you comfortable with the state targeting groups based on their ideological bent and, in essence, putting them through the ringer, using the most feared organization possible, the IRS, to do it? Are you comfortable with that? I don't care, quite frankly, if you agree with me. I hope you do. I hope you're a believer in Jesus Christ. I hope you've accepted him as Savior. I hope at some point that you recognize we speak truth and love, and as a Christian, I'm not judging you from above. I'm pointing up, and I am saying I'm just as fallen. I'm a disciple in progress, and the only thing that separates me is the blood of Jesus from my sin. That's what I hope you believe. I hope you recognize that I don't feel I'm better than you. But if you're concerned with that, how would you not be concerned with a government that picks and chooses and determines who they're going to, in essence, use the power to manipulate? And if you're comfortable with a government that does that because you agree with the policies ideologically and you don't have the foundation or the ability to actually convince others through reasoning, and you're comfortable with that, then you're comfortable with a government that will do it to you someday. That's the truth. You're comfortable with that government because if you're comfortable with doing it to others, you're comfortable for it to be done to you. And you don't believe in really what America's all about. You don't believe in being equal under the law. You don't believe in the checks and balances that are placed in our Constitution. You don't believe in our Declaration and what is outlined. That we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You don't believe that. You may speak to it, but you believe in power and manipulation and control. Now, I don't really understand how you look at history and quite frankly, yourself in the mirror if you buy into that, because sooner or later, that turns on you. It doesn't have a good history. It actually leads to a great deal of death, a slaughter of innocents. But as we're talking about this, I know I'm way off what I talked about tonight, but all I was going to do is play more examples of the president, the administration lying to you. And then people say, why? You always call President Obama a liar. My question is he? Do I dislike? I don't know the president personally, but at some point, I'm not going to sit back and say, no, the president's not lying. When he is lying to you, he's lying to me, he's lying to America. And guess what? There should be a place where people are held to account for that. He lied to us on Benghazi. We certainly don't have the whole story when it comes to the IRS and when he knew. In fact, he's in the dark about so many things. Cut 10. Get me cut 10. Here's a montage of things that he says he didn't know about. Are you ready? Roll it.
I heard on the news about this story that Fast and Furious, where allegedly guns were being run into Mexico.
Do you know when he first knew that there was a problem?
Well, I think it became clear fairly early on, the first couple of days, that...
So not before that, though? Not before October 1st?
When did you first learn that the IRS was targeting conservative political groups?
I first learned about it from the same news reports that I think most people learned about.
When did the president find out about the Department of Justice's subpoenas for the Associated Press?
Yesterday.
And
I mean, let me just be clear. We don't have any independent knowledge of that. He found out about the news reports yesterday on the road.
I certainly did not know anything about the IG report before the IG report had been leaked through press.
Just a quick question about Solyndra. Has the president been briefed about what has developed on that?
I think he's probably read some news accounts of it. I'm not aware that he's been briefed.
So there you have it. We're at crisis level, and that's not meant to, it's not hyperbole, that's a reality. We've got an administration, and this country's in big trouble. And if the Fourth Estate doesn't do its job, and Congress doesn't do its job, and enforcing the rule of law, and I believe in the rule of law. I don't believe in mob action. I don't believe in going outside the law. I actually condemn it. Bottom line is this. What we are seeing right now, this is not something we can brush aside and ignore, because it's going to fundamentally transform our country, and it already is. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. Maybe I'm playing Captain Obvious there. Live with honor in your life, compassion in your heart, and remember to always keep the faith in Jesus Christ. Know that God loves you right where you're at. You're worth it. AFR Talk.